Am I glad that exam is over. I can't remember the last time I studied so much and so hard for one class.
Welcome to college life. It's a lot different than when we were in high school.
You're sounding like my mother again. Did you find anything?
Actually, I did. There's a 2-bedroom on Cottage just 3 blocks away from campus and available beginning in August.
What do you think reasonable rent means?
Let's call and find out.
Are you sure we should be doing this? I mean, we've been here less than a year and dorm life isn't all that bad.
I agree, but now that I've received my sophomore housing exemption, I think it might be a good idea to check some places out.
You're right, let's call this place. It does sound great.
If you are a freshman or sophomore at the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater, you are typically required to live on campus in a residence hall. But there is an exemption process for upcoming sophomores who desire to live off campus, and we'll go into more detail about that shortly. While off-campus housing may appeal to many students, it is important that anyone who desires to live off campus must abide by a number of rules and regulations in order to be a good neighbor and to live appropriately according to city ordinances. Where are you going to live? The roommates need to discuss what kind of off-campus living experience they want to have. There are a variety of different housing options off campus, from houses, duplexes, small apartment, or large apartment complexes. Many decisions need to be considered or made. For instance, do you want to reside in a house? Would you be more comfortable in an apartment setting surrounded by other college students? If you live in a residential neighborhood with families, do you understand how that might impact your lifestyle? What are all the costs involved with each type of housing style? What is your budget? Some apartments have semester rates, however, leases typically are for 12 months. Can you afford to pay for the summer months if you aren't going to stay in Whitewater? If not, subletting may be an option you need to consider, which involves a consultation with your landlord. Remember, the winters in Wisconsin are cold, and that impacts the gas-electric costs. Ask for information about what the typical annual gas-electric cost for a house or apartment might be. You'll also need to confirm with your landlord who is responsible for shoveling the sidewalks and driveways. Many require the tenants to take on this responsibility. Remember when Sandy and Betsy were talking about moving off campus? It's clear they are both freshmen currently, but they are hoping to earn a sophomore exemption for the following year. That process starts in late September during the freshman year. There are limited exemptions to the sophomore housing requirement, so they will need to act quickly once the process begins. Students may be interested in off-campus housing, but unaware about the options as well as the responsibilities. The Whitewater Student Government sponsors an off-campus housing fair, bringing numerous different property owners to campus for you to check out. This event takes place the first Wednesday of October. This is a great event to compare opportunities in one location. The Whitewater Student Government also has a lawyer on retainer who can review your lease for you. The lawyer visits our campus every week. This is another great resource for students needing legal advice for problems they may be facing. Students can call Career and Leadership Development for an appointment at 262-472-1471 or stop in the University Center Room 146 at the front desk. Individuals have the right to review a copy of the lease before signing it. Roommates should look for how garbage, internet, cable, electricity, heat, and water are paid, and whether it is their responsibility or their landlord's. As a lease is a legally binding contract, roommates will need to note the exact dates of their lease.
So we are both responsible for our portion of the rent. But what if my roommate can't come up with her portion by the time rent is due?
Legally, as the other roommate, it is your responsibility to pay the entire rent amount.
How do we sign up for electricity, cable, gas, and internet?
Or water and garbage services when there's more than one of us living here.
One of the roommates will sign up for the services, and when the bill comes due, it is their responsibility to pay that bill.
It is very important that all individuals residing have a good understanding of the financial side of leasing an apartment or house or other housing facility. If you want to live in a community, you should work to be a good neighbor. Go out and introduce yourself. If your neighbors are long-term Whitewater residents, you should ask how you can be a good neighbor, perhaps even helping out if that's something that you are inclined to do. You need to remember that living in a neighborhood means having reciprocal communication. The neighbors might bring concerns to you and vice versa. Being able to solve problems in a timely fashion is the best way to live amicably and to avoid issues potentially involving the local police. With new off-campus living arrangements, you have a reason to celebrate. It is extremely important to remember, however, to act responsibly in this new environment, and irresponsible actions can have consequences. Some measures you can take in order to enjoy yourself and to be a good host, not only to your guests, but also to your neighborhood, include: provide your neighbors a number to contact if the party gets too noisy, designate a sober monitor to control who is attending your party, call the Whitewater Police if the party gets out of control, understand that there are laws regarding the consumption of and/or providing alcohol to minors. Serving alcohol to those under 21 could result in up to $800 in fines plus fees. Being cited and found guilty for inappropriate behavior or conduct can have serious financial and/or long-term legal ramifications. You could also be civilly and criminally liable for any drunken guest actions, even if he or she leaves your party to go elsewhere. It is illegal to sell alcohol without a license, including selling cups at a keg party. Remember, if you host a party, you are responsible for the cleanup, including the removal of all cans, bottles, or other debris from the yard. Just another important and understood component of living in your neighborhood. Living off campus means you are part of a larger community. What you do affects other people. The main goal to remember is that the neighborhood should be a place where all people can live comfortably and respectfully. A first-time noise violation citation has a maximum fine of $300 per person plus fees. A nuisance gathering, such as a party that spills into public or private property, carries a fine of $800 plus fees. Some violations might have an impact on your career aspirations. These issues can attract police attention. Loud music heard beyond the border of the yard, guests urinating outside on your or your neighbor's lawn, or having open alcoholic beverages on sidewalks or streets are violation of city ordinances. These may also bring university consequences. There are also ordinances in the city of Whitewater that renters or homeowners have to comply with. Some of these include: garbage must not be put on the curb any earlier than 4 p.m. the day prior to pickup. Trash containers must be stored out of view by 4 p.m. on pickup day. A fire can be built, but it must not be visible from the street and no bigger than 5 foot by 5 foot in size, 15 feet from the structure, supervise at all times, and be close to a hose ready to extinguish it if necessary. A couch cannot be put on the porch, as only outdoor furniture may be used on the lawn or porch. Friends that come to stay the night can't park on the street because parking is restricted on most Whitewater streets between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. From November 1st through March 31st, no parking is allowed on any street from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. Dogs and cats that live in Whitewater must have a current rabies tag, and dogs must have a license. Laws and ordinances change from time to time, so it is your responsibility to remain current with them. The latest City of Whitewater list of ordinances can be found online at the following address. Your off-campus housing experience should be a positive one. Of course, the main responsibility falls on you. Good luck in making Whitewater home during your college experience.